Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the beginner series. In this video, we're going to be going over boots. So, the difference between the tiers of boots is almost the same as the difference between backpacks. Boots allow you to move faster. Each one gives you a different percentage of speed. This is 5, pretty sure these are 7, and this is 10. Yep. So that's it. That's the difference between the boots, levels 1, 2, and 3. And just like backpacks, the same thing goes for mods that you can have on them, the amount of mods. So level 1s, you can have basically one mod. Level 2, you have 2 mods, up to 2 mods, 1 or 2 mods. And level 3, you can have up to 3 mods. There are more for the level 1s and level 2s, but just like backpacks, they're not made anymore. And they're super rare and super expensive. So even if you had one, you're not going to run it. You're going to keep it just for like the rarity's sake probably and sell it for a lot of money. But with that said, we'll go into like the different mods for each ones and what they're useful for. So the best mod in the game, in my opinion, is silence. Silence, what it does, it reduces your footstep exposure by 80% when you're walking or squatting, not when you're running. When you're running, they can still hear you as normal, so you have to walk. But when you do, you're basically silent, which makes sense with the name. They can only hear you. They'll only hear you if they're like directly above or below you. If you're within really close proximity, like almost on top of them, like on the other side of a wall, they may hear you if you're right there. Or if they're using amplifier. So amplifier kind of is a counter to silence in a way. It does allow you to hear them a little bit further, but not too much further. They still have to be relatively close for you to hear them. So silence is one of the best mods I recommend to all new players. Like, don't try to play this like Modern Warfare and run and gun. If you run, people hear you, and since it's third person, the defender always has the advantage. He's always going to be waiting around the wall, waiting because he can hear you running, and he's going to pop out and he's going to dome you because acting is faster than reacting. He's going to be able to act and shoot you and choose the time when the fight happens, and you're going to have to react. So you're automatically always going to be slower than him. So unless he's awful and he just misses a lot of his shots, you're going to have a lot harder time killing him than he is going to have a time killing you. So just strategically, tactically, uh, moving slower. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. It's better to go this route than to throw these on, although these are good in threes because most of the time, like 3 people running around in a team, another team has got 3 sets of eyes. They're going to notice you 9 times out of 10. Silence can help you in some of those situations, like sneak around through buildings and stuff to get to them. But once again, they've got 3 sets of eyes. You've got 3 sets of eyes. They're in chat together. You're in chat together. It might be better just to be fast. Um, so a lot of people would just use like lightness. Lightness is probably the second best stat in the game for boots, just because it gives you so much more movement speed. Now running assist gives you a decent bit too. Like lightness can go up to 10%. It's like I think 6 to 10%. Running assist always gives you 8, but you lose it as soon as you take any damage. It just doesn't work anymore for the rest of the battle. So it's good to get into position, but as soon as you get hit, there goes your movement speed bonus. But it will be cheaper to purchase running assist than lightness. Then you have field style, which is another movement speed stat, which it's not gonna. There we go. This always gives you 5%, but only when you're outdoors, so not in buildings. It's cheap. It's a cheap mod. Um, and a lot of people won't pick it up unless it's on Blue Boots. So then you have travel style. Travel style is the other movement speed. This gives you 5% additional movement speed, even in buildings, but only after you've been running for 5%. And to be honest, there's not a lot of buildings where you can run more than 5 seconds in to get the movement speed bonus. So your field style is pretty much better. Like any of these other ones, field style, running assist, lightness is probably better than that one. It's only good maybe on like the desert map because almost all of it's outside. But once again, you have to be running for at least 5 seconds for it to kick in. So field style still kind of takes it because you get this immediately. You don't have to run for 5 seconds to get it. Then you have metal shin guards. This one is good, but like it reduces your movement speed, so a lot of people don't use it. But you do get a 25% damage reduction to your legs, and legs in this game already have a damage reduction over torso and arms, just naturally, because they didn't want leg meta to be a thing, I guess. So this would reduce it even further, which would reduce the chances that like shotguns or machine guns, because a lot of people hip fire with those and they will hit your legs. So in close range, shotguns, machine guns will probably do less damage to you. Long range, like snipers and stuff, sometimes they'll put leg damage on theirs because leg damage also slows your movement speed when they hit you in the legs, but you will take less damage if they do that, but you will be slower to get to cover because it doesn't reduce the movement speed thing, just the damage. Then you have stalking style. Stalking style gives you a huge movement speed increase, but only when you're crouched or prone, which your movement speed is already reduced. So all it does is make you slightly faster. It makes it more manageable. It's almost like normal walking speed if you get a good percentage on stalking style. Most people don't use stalking style. I did for a long time. I was using stalking style and silence because I thought silence, like when you're crouched walking, I thought it reduced like the radius for them to hear you. It doesn't really. What it does is makes your footsteps slower when you're crouched, which does make it a little bit harder to hear, to be honest. So, and then crawling style. Crawling style is a stat that I think is rare and not on boots anymore, so it's going to be hard to find. Waterproof is another good one. I'll use this one occasionally. This does reduce the damage when you fall by half, and it won't cause death if you're almost dead and you have to jump off a building like somebody's lighting you up, because it's happened before. I've died jumping off of a building to get away from somebody who was shooting me and then died just from the fall damage. So this will save you from that. And then also when you're moving through water, so unlike Shelter, basically. Shelter is the only map that has like these large bodies of water and rivers that you have to cross, and they significantly reduce your speed, which makes you like a stationary target for people to shoot at when you're trying to cross them. But this will let you move across them without any movement speed reduction, which is pretty good. So that stat's not bad. Climbing style, this one I don't use too much. I don't think most people use this. It reduces the time of climbing and vaulting, which I guess is useful. It's not useless, but most people just don't run it because there's better stats to have on your boots. And the price of it's not really any cheaper. So, and then you have soft layer and shockproof layer, and what these can do is they're lesser versions of silence, and so like this reduces your exposure range by 25% instead of 80. So if you are running, it could be a little harder to hear you from a little further away, but it's not going to make it so that you're silent. But if you wanted to run soft layer with lightness, you could maybe run around a little bit more and be a little bit more stealthy. It's and this works regardless of whether you're walking or running. So there's that. And then this is a lesser version of that, but it does give you a movement speed increase. So it's only 15% exposure range instead of 25, but it does give you 3% moving. And if you wanted to move really fast, I guess, but only when you're unarmed. And I think it only works whenever you put your weapon down. But if you have a light stock on, it may still work. I'm not 100% on that though. But like that's a pretty decent movement speed if you're unarmed. That's like 12%. So plus the 10% movement speed from the boots themselves, that's pretty fast. You'll be moving pretty quick. And that's pretty much all the mods and all the different uses for boots in this game. And that pretty much completes our tutorial guide on equipment. So in the next episodes, I'll be going over probably attachments and what their use is. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Later.